There it goes. Hello, everyone. We started a little bit sooner, but I hit start record instead of start stream by mistake. So I think we're finally here now. Thank you for joining us on OreAni 2024, end of the spring season. And yeah, it's been pretty fun, I think. I don't know about everyone else, but I definitely enjoyed what we got to see. With us today, we have Jessica.
Hello.
And we have Albert.
Konnichiwa.
Yes. I don't know where Vinny is. Vinny, if you're out there. Yo, hope you're having a good day.
Busy.
Yes, and then Dragon is out there being the working man. So I'm very proud of him. I'm happy for him. Now you can get all the good anime stuff out there. And I don't know. I don't think any other regulars have been here. We've missed Sean for a while. Poor Sean. If you don't know, he streams on Twitch now. So
Oh, I did not know that.
you might want to check him out sometimes. He's out there doing 3D modeling and animation for a game. I guess he's creating or something.
Nice.
And we also have Neo. He's been out for a while. Been pretty busy. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the last few regulars we've had for a while, right? Nick was recently at a convention. He shared some videos this weekend. So he actually just left the convention. So Nick, if you're watching or if you see this later on, keep on having fun at those conventions. For today, we're going to go through the list, go down in order. Skipping the first two titles, though. Let's start with Blue Archive, the animation. Now, Albert and Jessica didn't see any of this. I know it was really hard to find for a lot of people because I believe it was streaming on Amazon Prime in Japan. So if you didn't have, the VPN or whatever to access Amazon Prime over there in Japan, you would have had to go through some other means to watch it. So it was really hard to get. But it was a very, very beautiful show. I mean, this anime is based off of a game with the same name, Blue Archive, and I honestly have to admit, I never read the story of the game. I always hit the skip button for the story to get through and collect and just powers through it. So now I'm actually interested in see how close it is. So I might actually go through the game story mode again one more time to see how close it resembled each other. But it was a fun ride throughout. We got to see a lot of the characters that we love. As I watched it with the group, we all talked about, oh, we have that character. Oh, I have that. You have that one. And we also talked, oh, doesn't she do this? Just discussing the mechanics of the game and how they work within the anime was really fun. And the quality was pretty consistent throughout, I would say. So it just made everything just very enjoyable as you went each day, or each week, watching the newest episode. Of course, the biggest highlights were the opening and ending songs. They were visually stunning and just wonderful. And I would, if you're a fan of the game, this is definitely one of your must-watch shows because you'll get to see a lot of the characters that you just enjoy. And although it's only the first season, I can see this definitely spawning out more seasons later on in the future because there's so many new characters being added, and also within the actual game the story's gone way past this, which I think is only capturing chapter 1 within this story. I think there's like 5 chapters, or 4 complete. I think 5 is in the, I think just released recently. So just wonderful animation. Plus, a lot of our favorite voice actors are in there because you know how they always get the very popular voice actors to voice the in-game characters. So now we get to see them in the animation when they come out. But yes, very, very fun. Did you guys want to watch or talk about any of these that you hit, drop, or hold on?
I think a few of them might be worth discussing just for the holds at least to know if I should continue watching them. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on that.
Okay, because I was going to go with this one here first, which is the Dekiso Konai to Yabareta Moto Enyu wa... Okay, this is a long title. The banished former hero lives as he pleases for the American short version. And I think I dropped this 2 episodes in, so I don't know how much Albert was able to watch.
I watched 1 episode and dropped it. I actually have read a couple more volumes of the manga, and it's not good. Is what it comes down to. So yeah, I had no interest after the first episode, seeing that the anime brought nothing new to the story. The animation was kind of mediocre. The story is just really tired, kind of just dumb. You know, it's not thought all the way through, I feel like, and it's just using the quick isekai trope. So I really did not like it. So yeah, it's not worth continuing, in my opinion.
So was this an isekai or was it a reincarnated? Because I thought it was a reincarnated one.
Yeah, it's reincarnated, but I mean, it wasn't the same world, right? I can't remember. If it's the same world, then it's reincarnation. If you went from one fantasy world to another fantasy world being reborn, that's technically a isekai too. So,
I guess, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The end result is very mediocre at best.
Yes, I agree. It wasn't. I was expecting a little more, maybe them to hash it out. But even as you watched it, it didn't seem like it was going to be given much thought to, and yeah, it just had too many of the isekai harem tropes in it. But I thought it was a reincarnation in the same world. But I would have to go back and check. But I did read some of it as a manga, and I also dropped that as well because it just wasn't that interesting to me. So, unfortunate for that.
Exactly.
It just wasn't able to hold us. But the next one we have here is, I think, a fan favorite for everyone, which is... Oh, I don't have the title card here because it's from the winter season. But Dungeon Meshi, right?
Yeah, we love Dungeon Meshi. And it looks like all 3 of us have watched it and are caught up on it.
Yes. Dungeon Meshi. How come I don't see the title card for this? It came out in winter season, right? 2023?
Correct.
Or no, 2024.
Yep.
Sorry, 2024.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder I can't find it. So it was...
Time means nothing anymore.
So it was 2 core by Studio Trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this was the one that was streaming on Netflix, right?
Yes.
What do you think of it, Jessica?
I loved it. Normally, I don't really care for food porn anime, but this just did everything right as it had. It took the idea of food and centering food and made it very creative by using the different monsters as the sustenance, and then it also has a story of why the characters are in the dungeon in the first place, what their goals are, You find out there's a lot of world building and stuff behind the dungeon appearing, and there are rules about dungeoning that are consistent. It's really, really well thought out. And it's also hilarious, too. I was cracking up every episode. And I think that if you're the type of person that loves D&D, this would definitely be for you, because there's a lot of humor about the typical fantasy world tropes that are in here that I think a nerd could appreciate, which I very much did. So, yeah, really like this one, looked forward to it a lot. Can't wait for season 2.
Yes, if you go on Twitch, Studio Trigger has a Twitch channel, and every once in a while they would have a live drawing session with the artist of the show, and they would draw and answer questions about the show, about all sorts of different things that were happening around that time. And this all happened as they drew one complete image, and it was just really fun to watch that and see how the artists made everything. And they had, of course, an English translator there, so it wasn't just Japanese stream, it was for almost everyone. And it was just really fun to watch. I think you could kind of split this show also into 2 halves, where the first half is like traveling back down to find Faline, and then the second half is finding Faline again.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely.
So it was just really fun. And the thing that I really found interesting was actually Faline, because we never really get to see her all that often, but we get to know a lot about her from other people's perspective, and everyone saw her in a different way. And it was just so crazy to see how everyone perceived her. And even when we meet the samurai guy, I thought that was pretty funny how him and of course Laios interfering with everything. But just as we also got to learn more about each character, Senshi, Marcel, and Chilchuk, they had a really thought out plan for every single character, and I just love it. And it was a wonderful show. I was actually surprised it took me so long to get caught up into it, because I don't think I really actually started watching it until the second season started. So I had to catch up, and it was just fun throughout.
Yeah, normally I'm not a binge watcher, but this one, if I got behind by a couple weeks, it was great to just watch episodes back to back to back. And now that it's all out, if you haven't seen it, you can definitely spend a weekend binge watching it.
Everything else.
So what was your favorite meal that they made?
My favorite meal?
Yeah.
Oh, I guessed. I don't know, honestly.
I really liked the suit of armor and it being a crustacean. That was pretty clever, because I'm thinking, how on earth are they gonna eat this thing? And then it turns out, well, it's a shell. It's a shell, so you crack it open like a crab and eat the inside.
And I never actually thought about the food. I just I remember seeing the food at the moments, but I never thought like, ooh, I should try it. I should try to recreate. I actually wonder if there is. I think isn't there like someone said for fun that there's like a cookbook out there that they were trying to make for some of the recipes.
I would be surprised if there was not a cookbook tie-in for this anime. That would be an egregious misuse of the IP if there wasn't one.
I think there's a YouTube channel where someone was trying to recreate some of the different meals, some of the more exotic ones, and trying to come up with ways to mimic like jewelry or something like that, things of that nature with different, jellies or gummies or something like that. So But yeah, it's a good show. The manga is complete. And just yes. So the first core essentially is a dungeon dive as they try to stretch their supplies by eating monsters and such. And that part, although really well animated, you know, if you're a fan of RPGs, it's a lot of ropes that come into play, and it's a lot of world building. And then things get a little bit more serious on the second floor, and you get even more world building, and that continues on. So I know a second season was announced. I'm trying to figure out because I don't think they can finish it up in 2 more courts. I think they need 3 to actually do it justice, just from the adaptation pace and some of the heavier story elements that will come into play. But definitely going to be watching season 2.
Same here. So next up, let's go down the list. Oh, this show. Let me go back to here, find our title cards again. Oh, what's next up again? Oh, Henshi. A solid bowl of eccentrics. Which has the character designs by Kantoku, which is what made me really interested in the show. And as I continued watching, I started just loving the story of these characters and how they live their life in, I guess, a reverse isekai, right?
Yes, definitely reverse isekai.
Yes. So we have 2 people, Sara and Livia, who have traveled to our world from wherever they came from. I can't remember if they really mentioned it, but it was probably really early, so I forgot. And these 2 have come to our world, but unlike, in Hatarakamau, where they were traveling together, they were separated for the longest time. And just seeing how each girl lives their lives is so crazy. And Sarah is able to find Sosuke, which is a detective, and while Sarah lives with him and also helps him with his business, Livia becomes a homeless person living under a bridge for the longest time. And even as she upgrades and goes through the world, everything she does, I swear, is just like the worst thing she can get herself into, while Sarah is just living the highlights of everything in this world. Even when it comes to, I guess, some gambling, Sarah is winning while Livia is losing everything. So it's just very funny to see how these 2 girls are going through life in this show. As far as an overarching story, I'm not too sure like where they were trying to go. It just kind of just concluded with a happy ending for Sarah, and I can't even remember what happened to Livia. Do you remember, Albert?
Yeah, Noah got arrested for insider trading. So the girls' band, became essentially on hold. So Livia is currently out of a job technically because the band is not in operation. It's a really wacky show, and it's much more slice of life than anything. But it's just, I really enjoy the characters and the antics, and every time Livia would try something new, I just was slapping my forehead and say, no, don't do that. So she gets into pachinko, she gets into horse racing, I'm like, no, why? And she even gets yelled by Sarah, who is her princess, when certain things she says she's doing, comes to light, and but she just keeps falling in with the wrong crowd. It seems like she's very gullible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's still a very enjoyable show. And like I said, it's much more slice of life than anything. But it is a very eccentric group of people that they end up cast of characters that they end up having.
Yeah. So if you're interested in a just comedy slice of life where you don't know what Livia is going to do next, you can try to check out this show, because I swear she made the show pure comedy gold a lot of the times, just with a lot of the stuff she gets into. But
Yes.
especially when she starts hooking, or I should say now starts hooking up with Livia, it just becomes even crazier what she can do when there's money involved too. But yeah, it's a wonderful, fun show. I don't think it's for everyone, but it is a decent show. Next up, we have Sound Euphonium Season 3. Is this completed, or is it...
The 13th episode just became available this morning, so I managed to squeak that in before the call.
Alright. I think this was a show Vinny was watching as well, so...
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, I don't want to spoil it for Albert, so I'll be careful. But overall, I thought the ending was very satisfying, not only for this particular core, but for the entire journey that we've been taking along with Kumiko. I've liked it very much. I have a couple of critiques about the final episode, but I won't mention those because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. However, they baited us again, damn it. There was a scene with Reina and Kumiko, and it's in the moonlight, and they're walking together, and Reina's basically saying, oh, I think we should both go to music school, because that way we'll always have each other in our lives, and we'll be together always. And it was so romantic, but then their relationship isn't that way, and it's I just feel like they're teasing us at this point. They know what they're doing. But overall, it was really good. My main critique is that a lot of the performances we don't actually get to see. So they'll show up at the concert hall and do the Kita Uchi Saito, and then the next scene they're packing up and going back and going, man, we did okay, or oh, we were not great that day. And it would have been nice to actually see those performances instead of just hear about them secondhand. But I still really liked it, and they did a good job. It's a KyoAni show, so it looks absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, if you like Sound Euphonium 1, you are probably already on board for Sound Euphonium 3.
That sounds kind of weird how they would change that. Because I guess in the first season, right, we got to see all the performances to the end when it came to music.
They didn't do that here. So I think that what they did is they chose to go in favor of the drama more than the actual performances, to try and keep things fresh, perhaps, but I didn't really care for that emphasis as much. Also, episode 12 is going to hit you in the feels. Just saying. That was probably the strongest episode out of the entire series, was that one. Just because it has all of the right emotional beats, and the animation is gorgeous, and it really plays to the strengths of the studio and the story in that episode. And yeah, it's like a little microcosm of Sound Euphonium as a whole is in episode 12. So very good stuff.
Do you happen to know what episode that bait was? At least want to check that out and see how you're talking about.
Oh gosh, it's in the middle. I don't know precisely, but I can look at some episode synopses and probably do a guess. If I had to guess, it'd be either 6, 7, or 8, somewhere in there. Just right snugly in the middle of the story.
I see.
And then you can tell me if I'm crazy or not, but it felt like they were setting it up for something, and then, nope.
Does it have that same similar, like, I remember in season 1, right before they went on stage, and one of the things, Kumiko and them get, like, so close to each other that, like, their noses are touching, and she's like, if you betray me, I'll kill you. And she's like, go ahead and kill me, or something like that.
No, it's not like that.
You know,
but actually, there's a really funny scene, I thought, unintentionally, where the girls right before the final concert are, as the underclassmen are hugging each other, and they're kind of in this group hug thing, and Kumiko says to Reina, shall we do it? She's all, I don't know, and I'm just, girl, you're so touchy-feely all the time, and now you're backing off because it's a hug? What? I did not get that. So that was kind of strange.
Alright. Well, unfortunately, I like Sound of Phonemium a lot, but I still haven't seen season 2, so I'll have to go through that.
Yeah.
I did love the movie a lot, Liz and Blurred.
I have not seen that.
And that was wonderful. But yeah, if you like the show, I think you should try Liz and the Bluebird. It doesn't target the main characters; it targets 2 other characters within the group.
Oh yeah, it's definitely on my list of things to watch.
And what else do we have here? I think that's it. Did they have any like noticeable music that you thought was just classic that they play and everything, or was everything kind of new when it came to music?
No, because they decided not to show them playing very much, you're not really hearing the same tune over and over the way that you did in the first season. So I didn't get that fatigue of hearing the same musical piece. As to whether or not it's a original piece created for this story, I don't know. It's not one that's recognizable to me, but I don't really know a lot of Japanese classical composers. So, yeah, I guess I can't really say.
All right. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go to the next title, which looks like you dropped, but I think Dragon was 1 episode away from the ending. I don't know if you ever saw it. And welcome, Dragon, for coming in.
Thanks. I am still 1 away. I didn't get the chance to watch the last.
Okay.
But I have basically come to completion of it.
So Kaiju 8, which had so much marketing, I swear.
I mean, I definitely understand stemming from like the talk or the beginning of spring, how, you know, it would have been interesting to see like the side from like the cleanup crew, rather than like, you know, just full on usual anime of like action pack, like just becoming the full action main pro tag. But I will give it credit that a lot of the animation for the fights are really, really nice. They were really good and like fluid to watch. I will say one of like the things that I hated, that I also found out that a lot of people had the same feeling, according to like seeing like little like things on like social media, specifically like TikTok, is that every episode, like, or like at least most of the episodes, always end on like a cliffhanger, and it's the worst thing ever. And it's just like, oh my god, it's like it gets to the climax and boom, and then the ending plays, and it's just like, oh frick the ending. Like, it's literally been like, oh my god, once you hear the ending, it's like, you just despise it, because that means, you know, frick, you gotta wait a whole nother week just to see what's gonna happen next. But overall, it's kind of just like your usual like main protag gains some type of power to become really powerful. Um, but it has an interesting thing of like he has to keep it like because like almost how would I explain it? Is there anything similar to it that I can? I would say like it's almost like the whole superhero identity trope. You don't want your like identity to be found because of possible like consequences, but it's it's pretty like okay. I definitely would just watch it just to see the animation style. Um, but other than that, it's an alright game. If you got time, go ahead, give it a shot. But it's not like anything to be like raving about, I would think.
So would you say I would have a better experience been watching this so that I don't get caught with
Yes,
the
definitely. Like this is an anime that you do not want to do a weekly release because it'll just piss you off that you have to wait a whole another week just to see the continuation of climax, basically.
How far did you get, Jessica, that you dropped it? I remember you were talking about it quite a bit when it first came out.
Yeah, I just got 2 episodes.
I see. Well, thank goodness we have Dragon to watch for us.
Exactly. Thank you, Dragon.
No problem.
I think we can kind of skip the God games, right? Because that one I don't even think it's worth talking about, even if it's a drop. Kami wa game ni ueteru. I think I saw at least 3 episodes, but even then I was like, meh.
Yeah, I think I was with you for most, or at least the first episode. And even then, it was just kind of like mediocre at that.
So now we can go to Karasu Aruji or Erabanai, which I thought was really, really cool, but then I kind of got bored halfway through. Which is kind of sad, but it looks like it's still going. Is it? It's 2 core.
Yes, it is going to be 20 episodes. So it's kind of an odd number. I really, really like this one. However, it is definitely not going to be for everybody, I will say. It's probably at this point in the story, 90% of it is just political machinations of the court. So if you don't like politics and all of the backstabbing and whatnot and the drama that comes with that, you will not like this stuff, hands down. There's not a lot of action, but I'm really liking that, the court intrigue, and seeing our young protagonist kind of navigate all of that while still trying to stay one step ahead of everybody. So yeah, I think this is the show I probably anticipate the most every week. I get really excited when it's rating time.
So the main character was Yukio, right? Or the boy,
Yeah,
at least?
yes, I think that's his name.
See, my whole interest was with him, and also how kind of the Waka, whatever, the Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their interactions and how they kind of went through all these different scenarios and moments, and of course Yukio always getting the blunt of the punishments of it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it honestly started going to the inner court thing, I think that started around episode 5 and 6, right, where it started focusing mainly on them and them making deals and them just it just, to me, that's when I started losing interest and I kind of stopped. So, unfortunately.
It does circle back around to Yukia. I think that the reason why they switched protagonists was to kind of give context to the world and show you what the Kinu prince has to deal with in order to ascend to the throne and get coronated. But it's a slow story. So it definitely requires, I don't know how to say this without I don't know.
So the other problem with this show with me was that I was watching this with a group, but by the time the show came up, everyone had left and it was only me. And but this show made me want to talk to people about it, because like me by myself sitting there, I kind of just like, okay, this happened, but I really have no one to bounce off. Like, why is this happening? What's going on? Why did what's? I felt like this is something that would have been fun weekly if you had someone there to talk to about, like, oh, snap, did you see why this happened, or this is, because maybe I might have missed things, I wasn't paying attention, and then they can help fill me in on some stuff, or I can help, but
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to bring up, is that I found that if my mind began to wander during one of the slower scenes and then I tuned back in, I was completely lost. So I'd have to rewind and really make an effort to pay attention even during the slow point. I don't think it requires a lot of viewer investment for it. And I will confess that there are a couple of times that I did not understand why the characters were doing what they were doing or what their plans were. And so it would have been helpful to have other folks around to bounce ideas off of.
yeah. So that's what this show was kind of more for me. Like, if I had someone to watch it with and talk about it, I think it would have been more enjoyable and I could keep on going. But me being by myself, it made me kind of like, I'll just watch some other things that are a little easier to swallow.
Yeah, and I can definitely see where this would be better to read as a novel than an anime, because there's such a distinct lack of action. But the novels are unfortunately not officially translated in English that I can tell anyway. So this is the only way we have to get this particular story.
All right. Let me see here. The next title I think we got. I know Demon Slayer started at a weird time. Did it release all the episodes, or is it still going? That we should leave it for the summer.
I'm not sure. I haven't really caught up with it, just because I was just watching it every now and then, just because it's basically a filler arc of just information and training. So I'm just kind of like in and out of it. Like, I'm just like here and there watching it, not really like fully catching up with it, just because the only reason you're going to be really watching it is just to see it animated. But I don't know if it's all fully out yet or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, it's a training arc. I think it releases on Sunday, so I know the new episode came out today, but I don't know if that's the last episode or not. So,
Do you know what number it was? Because I think it's only 8.
For the total?
What's released now?
Oh, that I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, according to the website, it's only 8 episodes long, so, but I know it started like mid-season or something close to that, so we'll skip it for now and maybe come back to it later. But we have Konosuba Season 3. And man, that was a season. I don't think I laughed harder in any other season than this one. And this season, I think, focused a lot on darkness, with it, at least in the second half. And so we got to learn a lot about darkness, or La Latina, as she's also known. But another fun thing about this was they released a lot of YouTube videos with the voice actors playing games and doing different things as the quartet, and it was also fun to watch those as they were translated. But Konosuba season 3, of course, it's probably one of those shows that you're just gonna pick up after watching season 2. It continues on, actually after the movie, so you have to have watched the movie as well. And Kazuma is introduced to some new characters, which I believe was Princess Iris and her guards, and we're also introduced to, I guess, the scarce tools that the other heroes have brought and are causing havoc within the world. And that's pretty much, I think, the first half. And then the second half is dealing with La Latina, or darkness, and problems with her family, and how she's trying to go through all these without getting her her crewmate or teammates into the problems as well. And of course, the other teammates find out and don't want this, and just do everything they can to try to help her, even though she's trying as hard as she can to keep them out of it. So I don't want to say too much, because everything is pretty much visual when it comes to this show, and it's just really funny as we go through. But it does have a really catchy ending song. I love the ending song to this season 3. I've listened to it quite a bit. But I don't know what else to say. It's just it was just really fun trip. Albert, you have anything to add, or?
I mean, I totally enjoyed it. It was, I was laughing out loud several times during each episode, but you also realize, like, Kazuma's behavior is very juvenile at times, but then you have to remind yourself, well, he's technically, isekai, and he's technically a high school kid. So there's that. Some people said that the gags were getting kind of repetitive, and I did not agree with that statement. I thought they were still pretty funny and spot on. So it's one of my favorite isekais, because it's different than just your usual OP pro tag with cheat ability isekai. This is a isekai with a lot of comedy. So yeah, I still highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically considered the group of failures, right? At times, when it comes to their classes.
Well, they have very unique personalities. However, you realize they're actually pretty damn strong. Aqua is a goddess, right? Even though she's an idiot. And Megumin is a powerful art wizard, even though she can only cast one big spell unless she has other support. And Kazuma is just he's just Kazuma. But he does have a really, really insanely high luck skill, or luck ability. So everything that he does tends to fall in his favor, mostly. And darkness is darkness. She's got masochistic tendencies, but she is just a tank. So she can take a lot of punishment, as you see in some of the episodes. Physical punishment. Mental, I'm not so sure, but that's where Cosmo comes in. So it's an odd cast of characters, but they're very enjoyable to watch.
It's funny how you mentioned Kazuma just being Kazuma, because one of my favorite running gags with Kazuma is that whenever they're yelling at him or talking to him, and they're like, "Kazuma, did you see?" He's like, he'll just so casually, as they're talking, go, "Yes, I'm Kazuma." I don't know why, that just breaks me up every single time he does that. Like, they'll be yelling at him, "Kazuma, how come this is happening?" He's like, and you just be hearing, "Yeah, Kazuma here." I swear, just the dumb jokes that they put throughout this thing just break me up. And I guess simple minds, simple pleasures for this show. For me, at least. But But I can't wait to see more of this. I hope every single season I'm hoping for another little bit of it. Next up, we have what is that? Black Butler, right? Which I think is one of Dragon's favorite shows, right?
I don't know if it's like exactly one of my, but it is something that I do watch.
What is this? Season 4 or 3 or something weird?
This is season 4. Yeah, because there was season 1 and there's season 2, which was a whole weird thing. And then there was season 3, but I think probably canonically this would be season. I would say if you're already watching Black Butler, you might or might not watch it because it's been so long since season 3, and since Look at the Atlantic, I think. Look at the Atlantic, I think is the last thing that came out of Black Butler, probably. And I'm sure like you'll probably give it a try, and then from there you'll gauge whether or not you would keep up with it. This was, I would say, a pretty slow season. Like the arc was kind of slow. It wasn't anything like too crazy to an extent, I would say. I will say that you definitely need to watch Look at the Atlantic in order to understand what's happening in this season. But it was alright. It was just an okay arc. I am hoping, I don't know how far they will be animating Black Butler, but I'm hoping they get into, or like they get into some of the more newer stuff, especially the current arc, which I heard now is the final arc, but it's an okay season. The story was alright. You're mostly there just to like see and hear the characters, I would think. It's kind of that like nostalgia of seeing them being animated again. And like hearing them talk.
I see. Anyone else want to add anything, or should we go to the next one? Okay, we'll head over to the next one, which is level 2 Kara something long again. Let me see what this. Chilling in another world with my level 2 super cheat powers. Yay! So rather than being OP from the start, it doesn't happen until level 2. It's the gist of it. I believe there's manga out there for this, and I think it is based off of the light novel. But I've only ever seen the manga, and I think I talked about it last time. But the show was very actually enjoyable. I can't remember a lot of the things that happened, but from what I do remember, a lot of it went relatively the same as in my memory. But the one thing I would say that I thought was hilarious about this was the very last episode at the end. At the very, very end, they say who was the overarching best character, or VIP for this whole season, and they gave it to the Kinpatsu Yusha, the Yusha, the hero, for making everything so entertaining. Which I thought was just a funny joke. I swear he was pretty much annoying throughout the whole thing, but just to hear how they gave him props for keeping the show entertaining because of everything that he went through was really silly and funny. But yeah, other than that, I think to me this show is also somewhat hard to sell because of everything that's somewhat similar that it's also better. But I think overall it was a decent isekai show this season. Because rather than being OP'd and I guess he was OP, but I mean, like, it just seems like he really didn't want to get into the conflicts, and he tried to stay out of it as much as he could. And well, I guess there are quite a more other shows like that than I thought. Now that I think about it, but I guess the main character was a little more enjoyable than a lot of the other ones out there. And also, he was isekai'd from a different world than ours, so it's kind of interesting seeing a fantasy world isekai'd into another fantasy world. Rather than our world being isekai'd by Truck-kun into theirs.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say. Do you have anything to add, Dragon?
I don't know, cause I like barely watched it. Like the only time that I really started watching was when the hero went and, like, was hearing like the voice in like the king's like treasure room, and he pulls like the sword to release the djinn, and like that was the only part that really like interested me. And then like seeing like the main protag go against go crazy against the djinn after harming, I forget the wolf girl's face, right? Was that him?
Which girl? Fettis?
Fettis.
Or Fenry.
Yeah,
Fenry, I think that's the name.
Yeah. Like it really interests me seeing him like go like full on like crazy after seeing Fenry get hurt or get killed basically. And I was like, whoa, this is the interesting part. And so I literally only watched like up to that part, and then it would be like every like now and then I'd like pop in and I see the rest of the episode play out when I joined anime. All the moments that I did see were pretty good, I would say.
All right. I think we can skip Mahoka. That's just the season 3. If you're following, good for you. There is also going to be a movie coming out soon for the Succession arc of the. But other than that, let's go to this next title, which is. Let me see if I can find. What's the name of this? Mao?
Mao no Orega Dore Elf War. Yome ni Shikandaga. And it keeps going a little bit more.
Okay, there's the title. Found it. Yeah, so the Archdemon's Dilemma: How to Love Your Elf Bride, which was a very like heartwarming show, I would say. It's a fantasy show, not an isekai. And I believe, because I have read some of the light novels, I think the whole season actually only covers just I believe it's the first 2 books, maybe going into the 3rd, but so I was quite surprised with the pacing because I've seen some shows that go through just a book one within one episode or within a single arc. So the pacing on this was nice and slow. They tried to encapsulate all the details within the story into this animated show, and I thought they did relatively well. Of course, if you weren't here for our beginning of the season, it's about Zagan, who became a sorcerer, and in this world all sorcerers are deemed evil, and he just so happens to see an elf being sold at an auction and falls in love at first sight and decides to buy her. And with the elf having the conception that, you know, all sorcerers are evil, plus they're also known for sacrificing elves because of their magical power, she kind of expects the worst, but slowly realizes Zagan is very different and treats Nephilia kindly, and although awkward, because he himself has never kind of received that, so he has a hard way of trying to express himself. And of course we have the church that hunts all the sorcerers seen as they're evil, and so we have that conflict. But you find out that as you're going through the show that maybe the teachings of this church aren't as correct as you might think, and of course, you know, maybe the sorcerers aren't as evil as you would also think, because as Zagan spends his time with Nephilia, he also kind of changes into a softer character and even becomes beloved by the citizens of the town. So it's just a heartwarming, like I said, kind of like this fantasy romance, and it was a very fun ride to the end. Anything to add, Albert or Dragon?
No, not really. It's perfectly enjoyable. Character designs are good. They did. I'm not sure if the everything is in the light novel. There are things that weren't in the manga that I noticed, because I read the manga. But there, yeah, I think it's popular enough that we'll probably get a second season at some point. I don't know if it was. I know it wasn't announced at the end of the show, so maybe not. But there is more material in the manga to read. So if you're interested, go check it out.
Yeah. Well, considering that they only covered, like I said, probably the first 2.5 light novels, and there's about 10 out there, I think, there's definitely enough content. And this is from J Novels, so if you follow them or enlist in their plan you can read their books on their site. I believe they also got the manga version licensed there. Next up is Mushoku Tensei. How far did you get get on that? I don't want to give you any spoilers if we can help it.
I finished it.
I have not even started this core, but I know what happens, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So, was this the one that it had like a gap between a season?
Yeah. The first 12 episodes came out in the summer of 2023, I think. So it was quite a gap. It was almost just its own separate thing.
Yeah, there it is. You were right, summer. So, this was season 2, part 2. I find it weird how they just decide to do a season 2, part 2 instead of just saying it's a whole new season.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that nomenclature either.
But I do remember one thing, and that a lot of people, I guess, making joke complaints about, I believe it was the second to last episode because it came out right on Father's Day.
Oh no.
Or at least the day before Father's Day, right? So I think it was mostly, joke complaints about how could you release this on that day. So if you watch the show, you'll understand what we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh man. Too soon, Tank.
But it's just so weird how the pacing of it is that I don't know where to kind of start. Like, where did it start? Was it right after he got together with Sylph, right?
I want to say yes, but the way the story's told is it's not really a clear-cut arc necessarily, because it's just about his life. So it's hard for me to split them, and then because an entire year practically goes by, it's hard to keep all that straight. So I'm not positive where the last one ended.
Yeah. So the first core, right? Wait, are you talking about first season or second season? Because the second season, the first core is the academy arc. So he's at the magical academy, right, and reunites with 7 stars and a new cast of characters introduced, and he reunites with Sylphie in the end. So that's a spoiler, I guess. But anyway, and that concludes that arc. But the story ends with him receiving a letter from Paul, his brother, saying we're having serious issues trying to rescue your mom, and we need help. But it doesn't come from Paul himself, it comes from Beast, the thief guy that he met in the previous season, who was a former companion of Paul's. So there's a whole bunch of stories and surrounding that and whether he should go or not. And at the end of the first core, he decides he is going when his sister attempts to go by herself. And she says, you have the ability, but why won't you go? And he decides, I can help, I should go, I am going. And so the second core is I forget what the dungeon is called, but it's the dungeon arc, right? So it's there, he reunites with Paul and with Roxy, and a bunch of stuff happens, which we won't go into. So, I mean, those are distinct arcs. A lot of people skipped over the first core because they got bored with the school arc. But personally, I thought towards the end of the school arc, that was some of the most strongest character building moments. So, but if you want the action back, this core, the second half of second season, this core is the one you want to watch because there's lots of that.
Mm-hmm. Although I would say the school arc wasn't as entertaining, I did like a lot of the interactions Vudas had with some of the classmates. Like, what is his name? Zumba or Zumboda or something weird? That prince that calls him master, and then Juliet. So those, I really enjoyed their story when they got introduced in that first core, and how they have this. Their relationship is, I find, really fun, and in the second, I swear, in the second core, it had a lot more drama in it, especially when Norn and Aisha showed up at the beginning. So. This show, I think, is really hard to explain without just giving a lot of spoilers. So, definitely watch it if you like it. I know it's not for everyone. I think Vinny hated the show because of the protagonist and and such. So I know it's not for everyone, but it to me it's very decent and it's fun. I can't wait to. I just hope that in their future releases they don't split it up as badly as they have.
Yeah, especially with a long-running show like this one, it really benefits from having a more consistent release date.
All right. Next up, oh, this show. Everyone's loves this character. It seems, at least back in the day. I haven't seen so much talk of her. Hollow here in the new Spice and Wolf season. Let me find the icon. But I don't know. Can anyone? I don't know if we can show hands, but if anyone is willing to confess that they sang the old opening song every time the new opening song opened or started. Because I found myself humming that every single time the opening started. I believe this is continuing on. It's a 2-core season, right?
Yes, it's going to have 25 episodes.
And I don't know if anyone remembers the old season as much. I'm finding it coming off very, very different from what I remember. But I haven't had time to go rewatch the old one to see how.
Yeah. So when she changes into her wolf form in the city, I could have sworn that was outdoors. It was in the city because Holo was huge, right? She towered over everybody. And when she does it in the sewers, it's just, I didn't think it was as impressive. And so Lawrence's reaction to being afraid of her was just kind of,
Yeah,
I wasn't buying it. Let me put it that way. Do you remember where she transformed in the original?
So it was the sewers, actually. But I will admit, the first season seemed to make that very more impactful than the... I think it had to do with the music. Because they had more suspenseful music in the first one.
You could be right, because I am kind of enjoying it, but I'm also feeling a little tepid about the new one. And I can't quite figure out why that is. And it could very well be that the music is lacking in the drama.
Because I will admit, that scene, I did try to find that exact scene in the other one, and I found it. So I know it does happen. Yes, it was in the sewers. And a lot of it plays up very similar, but of course, slightly different because instead of that girl, it was the boy. So that was that, but honestly, the part I don't remember is the ending. That whole interaction. That's one thing I can't remember at all in the first season, so I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that and see if that happens with the sheep herder.
You know what? I'm drawing a blank too, because gosh, when did the first one come out? Was that 2008? So it's been quite a long time since I've been in the Spice and Wolf universe.
Yeah, but the things I did enjoy are how they animated her ears a little more and her.
Yes, I was gonna bring that up. They have so much more emotion with the ears, where from what I remember of the original anime, they didn't really move around a whole lot. They're almost like accessories, and here they feel very much a part of her. And the tail wagging, there's more of that.
And I also feel that Hollow is more emotional in this season than she was in the last one. Especially, I just love how she plays with Lawrence. and when she gets in her little playful natures. But then she also has those really, really emotional moments where she's, dreaming, or after waking up and dreaming and talks with him. And I felt those were a lot more impactful than in the first time. So,
Yes, because in the first season, there's a section I remember being very confused at why Polo and Lawrence were at odds. The anime did not really portray it very well, and I think in this season it's gonna be well done. Because at the very least, they are nailing their relationship and interactions much better.
and the fun thing I like about this is that I believe it's all the same voice actors. So I feel like they're taking like, okay, we wanted to do this a lot more, or we wanted to do this a different way compared to how we had it the first time, so we could put more into it this time.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels really, it was very entertaining. And also I think it was episode 5, there was this gif going on all over the place with Hollow, and here, I'm going to post it in the Discord, that I just absolutely loved. It was just one of my funnest moments here too.
That is a great one. I've kind of sort of fallen behind, so I'm not completely caught up with this one, but I want it to be good. I'm approaching this series in good faith.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue with it, Tank, Albert? Dragon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will admit,
Started at some point, just because me and Tank have a friend that is in love with Hollow, so I have to do it justice and give him the satisfaction of watching the series.
I will admit that I only saw the first 3 episodes, and then I think it was Saturday I watched everything else. So I spent one day catching up on everything. So I wasn't watching it week by week. But now that I'm all caught up, I'm definitely going to try to keep on it to make sure I get the newest story. Next up, I think we could skip Remonster. I know it has a fan base because I know there's a coworker at my job that absolutely loves it. I tried continuing watching it and I got to episode 8, but it's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it's bad, but it's not so bad that I'm like, I can't watch it. Like Mashal, I just hate Mashal. But this show, I can still stomach it for some reason.
Like you can tolerate.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get my standards.
That's not. Yeah, that's not high praise, because it's the manga is actually becomes really boring. It just becomes, oh, we did this, we did that. It just becomes a tale of telling instead of anything exciting. And yeah, that first episode was a slog to get through for me, and I couldn't go forward anymore. And the manga is the same. I read up to like volume 8, maybe. I dropped it at that point. I'm like, this is a waste of time. It's not improving. The writing isn't improving. So
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really much to say about that show. I mean, it just keeps on going. Day 43 shows us a little thing. Day 44 shows us another little thing. Day 45, and then maybe a battle, and then day 46, we party, yay! So, not much to really talk about Remonster. We'll go to this show, which looks like Jessica's has it on hold. Dragon has watched some of it, but I believe this has some production issues where it's not all out, and it had some stalling, which was Whisper Bring Me a Love Song.
So procrastination works in our favor.
So I believe it's slotted for 12 episodes, but they've only aired 10. And even on this website I'm looking at, it says the broadcast time for episode 11 is to be announced. So we don't even know when we'll get the end of this. So this kind of reminds me of what is that, Zom 100? They had that weird thing, right?
Yeah.
But even then, this show I felt like really lacked in quality, especially because they were also working on, I believe, The New Gate, which was another low quality show.
I don't know. This one, I really wanted a good Yuri story, and this is just decidedly mid, at least where I kind of stopped watching. So I was hoping to get your guys' opinion on whether or not it was worth to persevere all the way through.
I don't know, because I was into the 3rd episode, but then I kept getting, like, having to do other stuff, so I haven't really continued further. But I was talking to one of my friends who has been watching it, and according to him, he's been saying, like, it's literally like pure, like, sugar. It's like super sweet. Like, so that's why I'm like, okay, I just need to find some time to really just, like, go through it and watch it, because, like, if he's saying that it's, like, really, like sugar sweet, then that means it must be super cute and, like, wholesome. So I think I just have to just, like, push it. Like, I feel like the premise is, like, there, but the execution so far is not hitting that, like, interest from the premise.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, what sold me for this Yuri title was, I believe it was, she gets confessed to and takes it as a misunderstanding, and she kind of develops these feelings for this girl and realizes that she wants to continue with these feelings, to find out that she didn't mean it that way. And now she's decided that she's still going to follow through with it and try to make her fall in love with her, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so let me get their names really quick. Himari, which was the one that caused the confusion, and Yori, which is the band member who's now trying to get Himari to fall in love with her in a romantic way and not in this I love you as a member of the band type of thing. But I thought it was going to be a wonderful show, but it was somewhat lacking. Like, I know it seems way better than some of the other ones as far as it being nice, because I swear I think the other one was Blue Moon to You, right? Which also had, like, some dark aspects to it, I thought. And then even before that, I think it was like Citrus, which was another dark kind of Yuri, right?
Yeah, that one was terrible, though.
The only one I could think of that tends to be anything that, or it tends to be the opposite of all of this, was Sakura Trick, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just pure comedy in this all-girls school. And but I don't know, I might try to go back to this and see if I can, I don't know, Dragon, you maybe want to watch it with me after episode 3 and see how far we can get later on.
Sure.
But I was hoping for more from this title. I think the only other one I could think of that was somewhat Yuri, or had Yuri aspects, was that one with that girl that wanted to know magic, but she couldn't cast magic, so she got that one other girl, the princess.
Oh, the like the reincarnated genius and the princess or something, right?
Yeah. But other than that, we'll see how it becomes. This next title, oh my god, this, I will admit, this made me cry. Just, I had the feels all over. What's this Shinigami? How do you, where is that?
The Duke of Death in his maid or something like that, right?
Yeah, wow, they don't have the title card for that here. Okay, we'll just hide the title card for now. But the Duke of Death and Yeah, so we finally, after 3 seasons, have gotten the conclusion to the Duke of Death and his maid. And I will be happy to announce that they toned down the musicals quite a lot after season 2. Though, actually, I'll admit the first episode had like 2 musical numbers right off the start, which kind of trolled me a little bit. But, continuing on, this show just, all the hardships that Bochan, or I think we find out his name is Vincent, right? Goes through with Alice.
Victor.
Or Victor, sorry.
It's Victor.
Victor.
Named after his grandfather.
Yes, Victor, my bad. I knew it started with a V. I thought it was Vincent for a second. But Victor, and also seeing how Shannon and how she went through life was very entertaining. But I would say the highlight was the last 2 episodes of this season for me. And I was just so excited and so happy to see the conclusion of this. Although I'm kind of saddened that we won't see Alice playing with Bochan anymore. But I am happy for the conclusion of the show. I don't know. I kind of don't want to really add too much else to this, because I think it's just something you have to experience. But I will say, I think Walter showed some growth within this episode, or within this season. But other than that, it was overall just pretty fun. And at the end, we got to see everyone all together. You want to add anything, Albert, or?
It was a good show. I enjoyed all 3 seasons. Get over the fact that it's all CG. It's a very sweet show in the end, and yeah, I do recommend it to people.
All right. Next up, Shumatsu Train Doko e Iku. The only thing I remember about this was, what was it, like Wi-Fi or some weird 7 or
7G.
7G, yeah.
Yeah.
How did the show go? Like, I didn't see anything past the first episode, so.
You know what? I actually really enjoyed this one a lot. Where to even start with this one though? It's so surreal. I guess it's just a little adventure. These girls are on a train, and since 7G warped the world in such a way, every stop that they go to, reality does not play by the rules that we're all used to. And so there's usually 1.5 to 2 episodes that they spend in any one of these spots, checking it out, just trying to usually get back to the train so that they can continue on their way, meeting some quirky characters, and trying to get to Ikebukuro in the end. But one thing I really liked is that instead of the format of a lot of older shows where it was each episode is not necessarily self-contained, but is the beginning of a story and then the story ends after 21 minutes, is that some of these stories lasted a little longer into the other episode, and so they felt it wasn't just a weird place of the week type of anime, which is what I thought it was going to do. And in fact, some of the crazier ideas, they just drive right through, so it might only be 20 seconds. There's one town that they drive through where everybody suddenly gets extremely itchy, and so they're just screaming, get out, we gotta get out of here, we gotta get out of here, and they finally do. So the jokes and gags that can't support an entire episode on its own are just treated as a joke or a gag, which I thought was pretty brilliant in terms of the storytelling. But basically, the gist of the show is that the world is constantly changing in sometimes random and unpredictable ways, and just roll with it. That's all you can really do, is just roll with it and keep on keeping on. And I liked that. So I like it. I would recommend it if you are into surrealism. Also, the voice acting is really good. There were a few conversations that just felt so natural. I almost wondered if they were ad-libbed, but I don't know if that's a thing that the Japanese anime industry really does. But that's how good the flow was between the characters.
So I think at the beginning I kind of wanted to say that the craziness within each thing, or the craziness that we saw, was something similar to, what was that called, Pure Illusion. Would you say that still runs the same, or does it?
Pure Illusion, I don't.
Or what was that called again? Oh man, no, I can't remember. The show.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll add a few things. So the director, I mean, this is it was original, and the director is Tsutomu Mizushima, who is famous, probably most famous for doing Girls on Anza, but he's also done some really good work, such as Shirobako, right? And you do comedy, like Prison School, and many other shows. He did Yoshinoku, which is one of my favorite comedy shows. So, but he's known for Girls and Panzer, and if you look at like his other works, he also did The Magnificent Kotobuki, which is like an airplane show. It was CG, but it was kind of a set in the Wild West like setting. There's a lot of static in your mic, okay, by the way. So, so he did airplanes, he did tanks, and now he did a train-based show. But he does have, I think he has good writing and good sense of characters. So it's built around the main four girls they're all going to go look for their friend who disappeared, and then they don't know where she is. And it turns out they find her through a news article in this crazy world that she appears to be in Ikebukuro. So they come from all the way from Agano, which is on this train line, all the way, and they try to go to Ikebukuro after the reality has warped. So I think all the voice acting was really good. Like Jessica said, the girls have distinct personalities, and there are some tropes that they fall into, like the gal girl is more Genki, and the bookish girl has a lot of book knowledge, but gets into fights with the gal girl, but they're actually best friends, all this kind of stuff. So on the one hand, it's semi-predictable, but on the other hand, the interactions were just a lot of fun. And I think it's worth giving it a 3 episode, because it really kicked in on the 3rd episode when they get to the other station and some crazy stuff starts happening. So if the first episode, they explain what happens, and it's wacky enough, but when you get to the other station and realize, oh, the world is completely different in different ways, that's when the fun starts. So, yeah, I would say give it a try and give it the 3 episode. If you don't like it, then you're not going to like it. But it's more character driven than anything, despite the wacky situation.
All right, thank you. The show I was talking about, I finally found it, Flip Flappers, where they go into this alternate dimension called Pure Illusion, where the world is just all insane. So
your mic is picking up a lot of noise, by the way.
Yeah, here, let me
Yeah,
see if I
remember
can.
about this.
Let me see if I can move it here. Sorry about that. Is it better? Hopefully.
Yeah, slightly better. So,
All right, let me try to aim it downwards. See if that helps. So, other than that, let me see here. What's next? Tensai something. Let me see if I can. There it is. Tensai Kizoku Kante skill de Nariagaru? Is that how you say that last word? Nariagaru. Well,
yes.
Actually, the title's even longer in English. Wow. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Based off of light novel, I've read the manga only, and I've really enjoyed the manga. And I would say, based off of the manga, it's very in line with how the story goes in that. And one of the highlights to this show, honestly, I said, was the opening song. I really loved the opening song. I don't know if too many of you are into anime songs, but I would recommend the opening song to this show. But if you've read the manga, you pretty much kind of expect the exact same thing. But this boy's I can't remember if dang it, this is another one I can't remember. I think he's isekai'd into this new world, and he has an appraisal skill that no one else has, and he's able to see how strong or the kind of the true potential of others, and he uses that to get retainers to follow him that he knows will be strong in the future. And every single person he picks up, the issue tends to be either getting them to be accepted by the family, since they're kind of looked down upon because they're just these little nobodies or kids or whatever, and having them try to prove themselves, and also having to prove to themselves that they are that strong. So Ritsu, I believe is the kid, helps them believe in themselves, and then helps them rise to the occasion so that they can prove themselves to, I guess, go up in life, and also to help serve him. And because of how kind he is and everything, they all tend to follow him as like a natural course of things. And unfortunately, I believe in the middle of it, once he kind of gets his main crew, a war breaks out because of the death of I can't remember, I believe it's the king or the emperor, whoever, in this world. So there's going to be a lot of infighting for the new king. So their family has to choose a side, and now it's the whole battle. So we've gone through a few battle scenarios, and if this show does get a second season, we'll probably continue on to the next part of just going into more of the war, because even though the manga, we're still stuck in the war. So we'll see how far this goes, or how we'll progress. But I thought it was somewhat enjoyable, because instead of, it's another one of those, it's not the OP protagonist, but he does try to surround himself with those characters to help him through life. How far did you get, Albert?
I dropped it after the first episode.
Oh. Not your cup of tea?
I not my cup of tea. I hated it. So
Yeah.
everything he did went his way, kind of. I did not understand the appraisal skill. Were very specific. Right? He gets that chart, and it basically tells them, oh, this guy is good as an infantryman versus an archer versus a cavalryman. Why those divisions? Because that's what the story wanted. So it just did not find that appraisals, the skill classifications to be anywhere gamey enough or reality. Normally you would not be seeing, oh, this is what they're. Why isn't there a skill that basically says, oh, your appraisal shows that you're going to be a great blacksmith? Is there a blacksmith skill? It just doesn't make sense to me. So there's a lot of issues with that. The racial racism that the first guy who recruits, that he gets because he's a dark skin, it just seems really thrown in last minute and not really well thought out or explained why. Just because they needed the protagonist to be more kind-hearted. Well, he was from Isekai, so of course his values would be different. But the fact that everyone eventually, it's not eventually, it's just like overnight comes to accept it because, oh, he's got some great skills. He's a great fighter and could stand up to the Lord. Therefore, we're going to accept him. That's not how inherent societal racism works. So I just thought it was poor writing, but that was me. So that's why I read the first volume of the manga, dropped it. I checked out the anime, watched the first episode. It wasn't bringing anything new beyond the manga, so I dropped it.
I'll admit his appraisal skills are very strange. I mean, he always sees different things amongst other people, but none of them are really like what's considered high, what's considered low. Like even like they have like the ambition meter that they have to he sees leaderships, and it's very inconsistent every single time he uses that appraisal skill. So I will agree with that one is just so strange how they go through that, but I believe we can go to the next title. But I will say, watch the opening song. The next one was actually one of my somewhat favorite shows of this season. I believe it was a reincarnation, not really isekai. Let me open this up. See if I can get this full name out. Tensa Shitara Dai Nana Oji Datta Node Kimama ni Najutsu o Kiwamemasu. Which on Crunchyroll is I was reincarnated as a 7th prince so I could take my time perfecting my magical abilities. This one is just totally OP protagonist being reincarnated and just ridiculousness in what he is able to accomplish. I mean, he is so overpowered that everything he does almost tends to be like no effort for him. But then again, it is kind of like his second life, and his first life was also kind of dedicated to magic. But now that he has the magical capacity, he's able to do more with his research and with his knowledge. But he does try to keep it somewhat in the down low because he doesn't want to be used and he wants to just freely research, because he realizes if his power is realized, he may be pulled into a situation he doesn't want. But then again, he just does everything just over the max. But the animation in this show is wonderful, and also it has one of my favorite characters that I've made a few Kiryas out of, Silpha, and it's just my my show of the season for right now, as far as isekais. But we do conclude with the can't remember what they're called. The Assassination Guild arc, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, Assassin's Guild.
The Assassin's Guild arc. So we do conclude with that, but the fight that took, I think, 3 episodes long was very fun and just visually appealing to me. And this show also does have quite a bit of fan service, so if that's one thing that you don't like, then this may have too much of that, I would say. Maybe not too much of it, but it does have it in there. And but I think it runs really close with the manga that I've read, so I love the manga, and the anime just kept on going. Anything to add, Dragon?
I would say that, yeah, it, like, because I was also, because when it was airing, there'd be times where I'm like, I just want to know what happened, so I started reading the manga, and it follows, like, really close to the manga, which is really nice. And honestly, like, kind of like looking at it, like, just, like, at a glance, it might not be, like that interesting, but once you actually watch it, it's such a fun, like, kind of, like, goofy, anime at times. And I think that's what I really liked about it, is, like, you get all these, like, amazing, like, animation, but then it comes into the SD, the super deformed version of the character moments sometimes. I'm just like, I would always tell Dick, I was like, I love moments like this. They're so, like, cute and funny. And I don't know, I just had such a fun time watching this anime, and, like, it's just, I don't know how to, like, really say it, but it's just, like, something you should definitely give, like, a try to watch. It's so funny. Like, yeah, it's an overpowered pro tag, but, like, you know, it's not like he's trying to use it all, like, you know, willy-nilly and, like, blow. He's, like, just purely using it to, like, try to, like, live properly, but also, like, you know, enjoy his passion, which is learning magic. And I don't know, I just definitely would recommend giving it a try.
Yes, and then he picks up his psychic grimoire in the first episode, and he's this demon that tries to take advantage of Lloyd, and eventually stays with him, saying, "I'll possess his body one day," but he ends up being used by Lloyd more often than anything else, and it comes to the point where even other demons start appearing, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys might just want to run away, because there's no point in trying to mess with this boy." And then they all, of course, make fun of him. And he's like, "It's your funeral," you know, which I think was pretty silly. But I think this show was quite popular, I believe. So we might be slotted for another season. But I was really happy with how it ended and the quality. So definitely. And they also had, like, some little, I guess I would call them, like, omake clips in the middle of the show, where they kind of showed you some little stuff that might have happened in between scenes.
Yeah, especially with, like, what's the girl that has the chi?
Oh, Tao?
Tao. Especially with, like, Tao and, like, her trying to find Lloyd. He disguised himself as, like, a mix of him and his brother.
But yeah, that's it for that one. I'm going to skip the Slime season 3 because I believe that's still continuing on. The New Gate we can kind of skip because that one is just total disaster. Actually, let me talk about it just slightly, because I would highly recommend, if you can find the light novels. I don't think they're really licensed anywhere, so do your best to try to find the light novels. But the manga does a decent job of telling the story as well. But the anime cuts so much content that, and I believe the manga is on a 3-month release. Like every 3 months they release a new chapter, so it is one of those long-awaited manga releases. But the New Gate cuts so much content that a lot of the things that they tried to explain later on that were kind of explained earlier that they skipped don't work out as well. And the story progresses so fast that you don't have any time to really connect or see how these people are. So they kind of skip through a lot of the character growth. Like with Shin and Wilhelm, at the beginning, they kind of go through those two partnership and how they become friends super fast, to the point that I think they meet and only spend really one episode together, when they've kind of interacted with each other quite a few more times before that. And so I believe that the character, they just went over all of that, and I find it really sad that this show had so much potential from what I've read, that it's turned out the way it is. The next one is, did you want to talk about this, Jessica? The Tonari Yokai-san, or?
I only made it to episode 6. I'm going to continue with it, but I don't have a lot to say except that it's sweet and cute and a good back burner kind of a show.
What is it? Just a slice of life, or is it?
It's more of a fantasy where it takes place in a rural town, and in this world, yokai have been part of life in Japan for centuries. And the main plot hook, I guess, is that the little girl character's father was spirited away, and he's gone. And she's friends with the yokai and stuff, and I'm assuming that eventually she'll rescue him from wherever he's needs help. But it's just kind of day to day. There's a really cute Nekomata in there named Bunsaro? Crap, I don't even remember. But yeah, it's just sweet.
Alright. Then after that, we got this show which finally finished, which was Two Core. The Tsukiga Achibiku Isekai Dochu Season 2, which is Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy. It's the Season 2 finale after the second core just completed. And although the order of events have somewhat changed as they're going through compared to the manga, and there's a lot of also changes from what I've read in the web novel. I believe they're telling their story really, really well, and also have done pretty good pacing as well. But I've been a fan of this show for a long time, and I started with the manga, and every week I believe it's on Monday that they released, just ready to watch it. So it's finally nice to see the conclusion, and we do end with the second battle that's happened within the story, which I don't even think the manga has gotten this far. So if you're reading the manga, the anime has now gone past that point. But it's just him trying to live his life and try to stay out of the goddess's eyes as well. But as he's living his life, trying to expand his business, being a merchant, he gets caught up as being a teacher and then starts teaching the students within this season. And at first, no one thinks much of him because, he supposedly looks like a kobold, or half demon or half monster, because, in this world everyone is beautiful because of the goddess's blessing. So he's kind of looked down, but after his students realize how strong he is and they start taking the class, it's kind of fun to see at the end of this season how much they've actually grown when they use their skills out there in the world and realize that we are in this top school, and now everyone in this school is actually kind of not as good as we would have thought because of all this training. So there's a lot of progression within the story, and we also kind of focus a little bit on the other heroes that have transferred over to this world. So at first it was just following Mikoto, but within this next season, season 2, we finally got to see the other heroes as well. So as we continue on, I'm hoping for a season 3, which I believe is going to be released easily. I think they even have to be announced season 3 title card here, so definitely going to be coming out soon. So I love it. I'm surprised it's not as popular out there, but I hope others can see it. Next up, I'm going to talk about this title because no one talked about it earlier, which is Unnamed Memory. Has anyone seen this or know about it? Because I decided to pick it up, and it was quite surprising how it started. I kind of want to continue on. I kind of put it in the back burners until I had more time, so I'm probably going to try to watch it soon again. But it was really entertaining. It was about this I believe he was a prince. I can't remember if he's the prince or king, but I think he was the prince that climbs a tower which is known as the Witch's Tower. And lots of people have tried to climb this tower plenty of times, and it supposedly is said that if you are able to reach the top of the tower, the witch will grant your wish. So the prince ends up ascending the tower pretty much all by himself, and the witch is somewhat surprised and decides to cast him and grant his wish. And you find out the problem with him is that he's been cursed by another witch, that he's unable to have offspring. And as the witch examines him, she finds out that he hasn't been cursed, but he's been blessed. But because of the blessing, it kind of acts as a curse where he's too potent with magic, and unless someone can handle that magic, they won't be able to bear his baby. So she kind of makes the off remark that maybe another witch would have the capacity to do it. So he decides to change his wish because she won't grant the wish of being his wife. That she'll stay with him for a year and try to look for someone that could potentially become his wife. But he decides to go with it because he's going to try to make her fall in love with him anyway. And it's just this interesting show where she's now living with him, and they're kind of keeping it a secret at first, but because witches are kind of seen as a bad omen. But as he goes through this kingdom and tries to woo her in a sense, and how she tries to live everyday life with him now. But it was really entertaining to me when it first started, so I definitely want to try to continue this, but that's really surprising to me. I think we can go to Jellyfish Doesn't Dance, or what was that? Doesn't Sing? I can't remember.
Jellyfish Don't Swim in the Night?
Oh, that's it. I knew it had jellyfish something. Oh, there it is. Yeah, jellyfish can't swim in the night. There, yeah. Yoru no
Can't.
kurage o oyagenai. Yes. One of the only good shows on High Dive this season.
Back.
Anyone want to talk about it?
I have not finished it yet. I intend to. But I would like to go on record saying that High Dive is stupid. They took away the little check marks that tell you what episode you've seen. And when you click start watching, it starts you over at episode 1.
Really? That's never happened to me.
Yeah, I use their desktop site because they don't have an app for my PS5 or anything. So it could be better on the phone or tablet, I don't know. But anyway,
see.
that's kind of how I got off kilters. I was just a little ticked off at High Dive. Like, I don't want to use it, man.
I see.
I do like the show. I like the show very, very much.
What was I gonna say? I've been using the desktop as well, and it's been marking everything that properly for me. So I don't know what I can say about what's going on with you, but I believe when it first came out, the subtitles for the last episode were really off, where they had the singing and also talked words right on top of each other, so you couldn't read it too well.
Oh,
I think
that's unfortunate.
I think they fixed it, but it was just, I think it was this show that did that, and it was just so crazy. I was like, what's going on? No. But I don't know why. We had a friend that would really love this show, but I couldn't get myself. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like as good as I thought, or he thought. But I did like oh no, my phone. Sorry. But I did like the little music videos that they did release along on their I think it was Twitter or X, right? Along with the episode releases, as they released new songs within the show. So that was kind of fun and entertaining. But I do like how they kind of focused on each character somewhat and showed some growth. I really liked the part with Kiwi and how she ended the season. But I don't know. Does anyone else want to add anything?
I mean, I watched the whole thing just recently. Finally finished it today, actually. And yeah, High Dive. I could not tell how to turn the subtitles off, and the things just kept popping up on the screen. I was highly annoyed every time there was like the Twitter thing, the feed, or whatever their SNS they're using. So yeah, this was original for the 50th anniversary of Doga Kobo, and I thought they did a really good job. Initially I got kind of like a place further than the universe vibe about 4 girls and all that, but it became quite a different and a show and its own show. A little too much drama, I think, of each of their problems, and not all of it was. The surrounding characters got enough time, I thought. It didn't quite understand Kano's sister situation. It seemed like they were both estranged from their mother, but it wasn't clear why the older sister was living by herself, or if she had just left. But it seemed like there was no interaction with her older sister and the mother. Not a whole lot about Kiwi's family. Where the hell is the rest of her family? Don't know what's going on there. So there are just small things that I know it's not important. This is anime family, so they're off to the sideline. But uh, you had this great family moment with the other idol, Pico or no Miko, right? And Ariel, her daughter. It turns out. I really liked that episode. But at the same time, it just made me wonder, well, where are the rest of the family for our four main protagonists? So there was a little bit of that. The music was great. I think Vinny was the one that mentioned that uh, a lot of the music, the pop tunes, were actually written by 40 meter P. I think that's how you say it in English. He writes a lot of Vocaloid songs. And I guess he got tapped to do this mainstream anime. I thought the music was very enjoyable for each of the episodes and the insert songs. I love many of them were used as the ED with like a different animation. So they did put some effort into that, although later episodes not as much as the drama got heavy. But yeah, I think a place further than the universe is like a 10 out of 10 for me. This was probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10, so definitely good, but didn't quite reach the height I thought it would. But it's still really well done, and I highly recommend it. That's it.
Oh, sorry, my mic is muted.
Did you have to take a call?
No, I'm sorry. I muted my mic because the phone was ringing. I forgot I had to unmute it. So I was just mentioning that I was surprised that 40 meter P, as we called it, did the opening songs to Blue Archive. So I guess he's been doing quite a bit out there for the anime world as far as songs, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think the only other show we have, or actually we have to go back up, but I think most of these are just Albert now, right? Yoru Camp, season 3.
So the studio changed, and I was a little worried about that. For the most part, it's okay, but definitely character animation seemed a little off. But I still recommend it. Cute girls doing cute things. If you're into camping, good. There's a couple of new characters that are introduced towards the end. And I know at least in the manga they become more important. So if you like season 1 and season 2, you should definitely watch it. That's it.
Okay, and then the other title is Astronaut, right?
Yeah, Astronaut. It's kind of hard to recommend, but I did actually enjoy it quite a bit. It's a little wacky, and it very has like the 80s, 90s vibe kind of comedy. So I don't think it fully committed to it. I don't know. It's just hard to recommend. So I don't think it fully committed to the gag. I don't fully commit to the science fiction story. I don't fully commit to like the romance. The romance came to a pretty nice conclusion. I will say that. But um, again, it's an original anime, which I always like to encourage and watch. It was it was okay. I can't make a strong recommendation unless you know the kind of things you like. But if you like more slice of life and um, kind of a nostalgic comedy style, then you might want to give it a try. But it's by no means a home run for me.
I don't mind spoilers, but I was wondering, is there like, what was the overarching arc of this? Was it just her trying to get home, or what? What was like the main goal of the story?
No, she came to Earth to find a key that was supposedly left, which allows her to become the next ruler of her planet. So she's the princess, right? The current queen sends her to go retrieve this key that's somewhere hidden at this dormitory housing place, and then you know, this all kinds of hijinks and wackiness happen because of that. So they try to keep the fact that she's an alien under the wraps, but it's pretty early on in the series where Takumi, the love interest, comes to learn about that and is quite shocked. But it's a bunch of eccentric residents as they all interact with this the housekeeper, the caretaker of the dormitory lodging that seems a little bit just off, and they just pass it off as, oh, she's British or something from England, right? But she's actually a face alien, and that's already given away in the first episode. So
I see. I might try to pick it up again because, like, I was a big fan of a show back in the day called Meisani Koku, and this kind of gave me those feels back. And
so it has that kind of vibe.
I had that, gave me that nostalgia. So I may try to go back and watch this, but. What was the other title? Bartender, right?
Bartender, Glass of God. So this title is based on, I guess there was a previous adaptation of the work of the manga. And this one is kind of getting back, I think. It's almost like a prequel. So it's how he became, the bartender at the hotel bar. So at the beginning, so people are trying. They just opened this brand new hotel, but they can't find a bartender for the lounge because the chairman of the organization that built the hotel, insists upon someone that can serve the glass of God, meaning the perfect cocktail for the perfect occasion, and they're looking for that bartender, the special bartender that can do that. And so two of the employees just happen to go to a bar, and they find that person that they think would be a perfect fit. And the rest of the show is trying to recruit him while things happen at the current bar that he's working at, and he's refusing to come work for them. But the backstory is revealed, and there's some customers that come in. Their problems are not necessarily resolved, but is brought to light, and they each can move towards some sort of conclusion. So it's not a bad show, but it's not a great show. I think it's very niche. It feels very slice of life. I picked it up because I used to bartend in college, and so the bar, college bartending is very different than what they're showing, which is a very high-end hotel, high-end cocktail making. So I did actually make a lot of those cocktails. I did enjoy the bar scenes in the anime. I thought it was well done. So, if you have interest in bartending, if you have interest in more of a slice of life, give it a go. It's not for everyone. think that's it. So,
I forgot I was muted again. Yeah. So, was there anything anyone else wanted to add, or to anything this season, or were there any movies out there? I can't remember. I think just the typical Ghibli films, right? And I think Angel Egg was.
Did that come out during around this?
Oh yeah, Haikyuu came out. But I think a movie called Angel Egg is also coming out in theaters, right? I think someone posted about that.
I really want to see that one.
But as far as that, I'm not too aware of any other anime movies that are going to be coming out soon, right?
I don't know. I can try to see if I can find the list and see what came out.
Something is supposed to come out. It might be dropping on Netflix.
Oh, no.
Gulag's been out for a while, hasn't it?
Maybe in Japan. I don't know if it's already been out for a while for, like, international? Oh, Ghost in the Shell 2, right? Also came out. And then obviously Studio Ghibli Fest. Yeah, I think those are probably about it. I don't think there's anything else that. Oh wait, here we go. Previous films.
Did you guys watch the Grim Variations? It's an OAV that's on Netflix.
I haven't finished it. I watched, I think, the first few episodes, and I did like it. Because it's an interesting, different interpretation. Right. And Clamp did the character designs, so
Correct. It's very
definitely
pretty to look
got
at.
yeah.
Very weird. I just found out, I guess, they made Bocchi the Rock movies. Which is,
They're compilations.
Yeah, they're just compilations, but I don't really see anything else out there that's.
I think. Oh wait, the Imaginary is supposed to come to Netflix, I think. Yeah, actually, let me see. But yeah. Yes, it's coming to Netflix when? It's an anime film. Blocked right now.
Well.
Yeah, actually it dropped. June 28th, 2024 for US. So Studio Ponok. I think that's about it.
Okay. Let me see here. So you said that the next season, I haven't looked up anything, but from what you told me, that what was it, Joker or Harley Quinn or something weird?
Suicide Squad.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, on HBO Max, right? You said. So, for those, for anyone who's watching, there's that, and so now you have to have Hulu, HBO Max, Crunchyroll, High Dive, Netflix to catch everything in a way.
I think the show you want to definitely check out is My Dear Friend, Nokotan.
My Gear Friend?
My Dear. Dear.
My dear friend.
Oh, Dear.
E-E-R.
Oh, is that what I've been seeing on Twitter all over the place with the girl with the deer?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay, is that a movie or what is that?
And the
No, it's a series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Next season. Watch it.
Oh, those have been trailers? Okay. I'm definitely going to have to look up the list for next season after this. But other than that, thank you all for joining me. It's I always have fun talking to you about anime and knowing which shows I should finish or shouldn't, and then telling you the mistakes I've made. But I hope you all have fun. I think the 4th of July is coming up, so everyone have a nice 4th, a nice Independence Day. And I believe it's not this week, but next week, most of the season 1 should start coming out, right? Or is it this one?
It's kind of all over the place. There's some that aren't going to start until August. At least when I was looking for stuff on.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, everything's all over the place. Is it baseball season? 'Cause I swear that tends to move things around, right?
I don't know.
But other than that, I guess it's time to catch up, and I'll talk with you all later on. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.